I made it precisely 30 seconds into a new episode before the baby ruined everything.
Yeah, the baby ruined. He's super hungry because we don't know if it's like, what is it like? He can't really tell us anything, which obviously it's because he's a newborn. But
I mean, I'm no parent myself, so I'm glad you explained to me why he can't communicate with you.
Well, not that you're aware of or that you claim. But yeah, it's just, we don't know if he's like just hungry. He seems like he's hungry because it's like you feed him and then you give him a bottle and then halfway through the bottle he passes out and you're like, okay, let's put him down. And then half an hour later he's up screaming and you're like, I thought you were like fed and you're not tired anymore. It was more panicky when we had Nicholas because he was like, our first kid and we didn't know what to do and stuff like that. But now with the second one, it's more like, all right, how do we work around this?
Now it's like, shut up, kid.
We adapt him to us. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically kind of what the situation is right now, and it'll get better. And
are you telling me this, or are you telling yourself this?
I'm telling everybody, anybody who's listening. This is Culture Doom episode 332. My name is Alex,
and I'm Brendan.
And we didn't pregame. We didn't go any topics. I've got some topics that will just come out as it goes along.
There's no form or there's no rules to this show anymore. We are no. It's like, hey everybody, we're gonna do our best. Gambate,
Yeah. Should we still be following? Speaking of Gambate, are we still following Yu Darvish even though he's a Padre now?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I was going to talk about the Cubs and baseball myself, so we'll just jump right into it.
This is Baseball Corner.
This is Baseball Corner of Culture Doom, episode 332. I think that I will not be able to resist the seduction of Yu Darvish and to continue to follow, especially with the Padres being as interesting as they are.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I was following the Angels because of Madden, but they they just kind of really suck. So if Willie goes over to the Angels, then maybe I will tune into them again this season. But otherwise, they're not that exciting to watch or interesting at this point. Yeah. So, but yeah,
most people don't even know that team exists.
Well, they're a confusing name because of the LA Angels, but they're not in Los Angeles.
Yeah, aren't they called the California Angels of Anaheim or something? Or did they change that?
It's if you put in their name, Los Angeles Angels.
Oh, so they are the Angels.
It's the LA
so they dropped
Angels.
The whole Anaheim part.
Yeah, there's no
California Angels. Okay.
Nope. But they are part of Anaheim, California still.
That shows you how much I'm up on California
The
baseball.
Los Angeles Angels are an American professional baseball team located in the city of Anaheim, California. That's the Google condensed results. So, but yeah, so Yu Darvish is so interesting and so fun that it's hard to say that I won't tune into the Padres. How about you?
I might keep an eye just like on whenever I see random like statistics come up and be like, okay, how did he do and stuff like that, and maybe keep an eye on him and maybe he might have another All-Star appearance or something this upcoming season, which I'm guessing they're going to be doing the full season. From what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 162 games.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and yeah, especially on because they're on the West Coast, so especially on a late night game, assuming that maybe being in a bar again, you're like, hey, turn on the Padres game. The Cubs are already finished. The Cubs already won tonight. I want to see another baseball game.
You're being optimistic with saying the Cubs won.
Hey, I got to hold on.
Keep hope alive.
Yeah. Did you see that Theo Epstein is now taking a job with MLB directly? He's
with the actual like head office.
Yeah, Theo Epstein is taking a consulting job with MLB, joining the commissioner's office.
So I'm guessing he's going to get paid at least six figures just to kind of opine his opinion.
Well, and there's this whole thing that basically, especially if you're a Red Sox fan or a Cubs fan, you'd like to see him just kind of segue into MLB directly and stop GMing. Because it's like, okay, thanks, Theo. Now stop helping baseball teams and just go away and do your own. Help baseball as an entire thing, not just individual teams.
Try to save the minor league system.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's already. So the whole thing is all about, how to make the MLB more interesting,
Mm-hmm.
especially after the disastrous 2020 season.
Yeah, I can't really blame them for the way that the season ended up being, just because of all the shit that was, all the extraneous stuff that they really had no control over, because pretty much every league kind of did some weird shit with that, although I don't think the NFL was really that affected by that. But yeah, I mean, it is a weird, asterisk. Who won the pennant anyways? I don't even know who fucking won. Who won?
Oh, it was no, it wasn't the Nationals.
Nationals was last year.
I know
Dodgers?
It was the Dodgers. Yeah, they beat the Rays.
What?
Because we were talking about because we were talking about payroll a few weeks ago, and I was like, yeah, but payroll ultimately, the Rays had I think the third or second lowest payroll in baseball, and they made it to the World Series.
Yeah.
So
that's impressive. I mean,
yeah.
Like I had told you, I started watching Australian baseball. So I'm like, my mind's in a completely different place. Although pitchers and catchers report in about under a month's time to Arizona or Florida or wherever they're even holding those this year. I think New Mexico and Texas and Nevada would be nice for them to do that, but whatever Theo Epstein says. Do you think he's going to become commissioner one day?
That's what people want. Everyone's already clamoring for Manfred. Is that his name? Rob Manfred, the commissioner. The commish.
I don't even know. I still think it's Bud Selig.
No, it's. I'm pretty sure it's either Manfield or Manfred.
I honestly wish that Paul Tagliabue was still in charge of the NFL. That was one of the great times.
Rob Manfred is the commissioner of MLB. Everybody hates him.
That's a terrible name. You don't even think of a guy like that.
That's a terrible name.
Because who is it? It's Adam Silver for the NBA, Goodell for the NFL, Gary Bettman's for the NHL, and what was this guy's name again?
Rob Manfred.
See,
it's telling that I actually know this guy's name.
Well, it's bad because it's like there's nothing catchy about his name.
He sounds like a Seinfeld character.
Manfred.
Exactly.
Some guy that Kramer and Newman have some beef against because something happened years ago or something.
They would unite against Manfred.
Yeah. Or no, actually, Newman and Jerry would unite against Manfred. That would be the ultimate. I said Kramer.
Yeah. Oh, Kramer. I thought, and in my head, I was already picturing my fan fiction.
Yeah, I was. You did a better job than I did. Yeah. But yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, that's because I sent you that I texted you earlier tonight about that the 04 Cubs and how that entire pitching rotation was just stacked with Chads, and then the offensive powerhouses in that, and it was just it was all these on paper they should have, but then in reality they just got whooped by the Marlins, which I mean, kudos to the Marlins. A lot of those guys came through the Kane County system.
Yeah,
when the Marlins were still here in Geneva. So. The
2004 roster, that was during the generation of Steve Bartman.
That was the Bartman series.
So that was about because I had just moved to Wrigleyville, and I had 2004 I think was when I moved to Wrigleyville.
You were in Wrigleyville already? I thought you were still in
2001.
South Loop.
We graduated. Oh, you're right. Yeah,
you were in South Loop at that point.
Okay, yeah, you're right. So I was trying to figure out.
You were. I think you were in Wrigleyville during the Lou Piniella era.
Okay.
Which, yeah, I mean that tells you.
The only I went to one baseball game when I lived around Wrigley.
Mm-hmm.
I went to that would have been 2010 or 11.
Yeah.
Although I remember who was the he got traded to the Marlins. Starlin Castro.
Marlin Castro, yep.
He was the star when I went to that game. He was the guy that everyone was excited about. And then he got traded right after Madden. I think they traded him to the Marlins. It was something they traded him in 2015. Mm-hmm. And then they won the World Series the next year. And I kind of felt bad for Castro. But anyway.
That's what you accept when you become a major league player. What's his face? The guy that used to be on the Nationals. And now he's at the Phillies.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, I should know his name.
He's kind of a dick. He's become the new baseball.
Isn't he
dick.
friends with Chris Bryant also?
Rizzo wants no part of that.
One thing I have to say, I was thinking about this with while watching Yu Darvish, because he's fairly
handsome.
Well, he's handsome, but he's very, even though he generally doesn't speak English, especially in interviews, he'll just go to Japanese, even though he can speak English.
Yeah.
But he's pretty well spoken and articulate. It's really refreshing to see athletes who can form more than 3 words into a sentence, because a lot of athletes seem to struggle. It's like you suddenly get this horrifying reminder that these guys are a bunch of meatheads as soon as they have a microphone in front of them, and they're just like, me hit ball, good. Me run fast, win game. And then it's like, thanks, Rizzo. Back to you in the booth. Because I gotta say, Anthony Rizzo seems like a very nice gentleman, and he does a lot of very nice philanthropic work, but he seems like as dumb as a
box of rocks.
Box of rocks.
Well, you know, I always thought that the worst, if you had anybody that was the worst of any of those pro athletes, it was probably hockey players. Because hockey players just seem to be just like, they ask them like, yeah, you know, how's the playoffs going? You know, you just won the first round. You know, you're going to be heading the next round. You're going to be playing in Edmonton, starting off the series. Everybody said, oh, well, you know, we got to have, we got all the lines banging. You know, we got the guys hitting, we got the guys slapping and stuff like that. You know, we're getting off the shots and the transition plays. You know, we're doing, got to keep them banging. Yeah,
fancy
all the lines.
NHL words. I don't.
No, seriously, it's just like there's a great Letterkenny skit about hockey players and about the guy, like the reporter kind of slips in and been like, yeah, there's been reports of like gonorrhea amongst all the teammates. Do you want to comment about that? And he's like, well, we're all in it together. We got to watch out for each other. We're all banging it together.
I don't know. I think that's way more articulate than an actual NHL player sounds.
Yeah, it is. Athletes just in general are just like, oh my god. But then they're so one track minded that you can't kind of help it. But speaking of that, I mean, I think I recall having seen it where I believe the worst athlete that was ever the guest on SNL was Wayne Gretzky. Which also doesn't help since he's a hockey player, but
I was going to say, you're just proving your point, your thesis.
He was just atrocious. I mean, he would just look straight at off the camera and just like be reading it verbatim off of those cards. And it's like, dude, you're supposed to just kind of glance and kind of get an idea as to what it is. But it's just...
not everyone's as natural born a performer as Michael Jordan is.
No, especially when he's with the super bands and they're talking about like, you know, how they want to shave, how the kids want to shave their head like Mike and stuff like that. Yeah, it was good times. It was a different time. It's much different. Speaking of sports, I was completely unaware of this interesting thing. And did you know that the NBA has an actual jersey sponsorship deal on their clothes?
Oh, I just heard about this. This is relatively new. This is like this past season or the season before
actually
that started?
It's something that's been around since 2017.
Okay, so that's longer than I thought it was.
Yeah,
but
I mean it's relatively
doesn't
new.
sound that far away, but it is new.
I mean, granted, now it's going on 4 years.
Yeah,
it's going to be 4 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
it's a long time.
But apparently it's something that they just kind of wear on their like right shoulder or something, or left shoulder.
I just wanted to turn into NASCAR.
I do, yeah, because I remember people were saying about like the sanctity or whatever of jerseys and stuff. And meanwhile, you got NASCAR and you have guys in pro soccer that are just slapping, you know, Snickers across their chest, or Intel computers, or what was it, Packard Bell. Although I do have to say, the one thing that did piss me off about that immensely was several years ago, Manchester United had a sponsorship with Chevrolet, and it was, I think, within like a few years of the bailout for the auto industry. And then all of a sudden you see like, oh, Chevrolet's giving a shitload of money to a fucking soccer club that doesn't even need a single goddamn penny because of who they are and stuff. That really, that ground my gear, to be quite honest. But the NBA one, I think it's a lot more, it's subtle because the logo is basically kind of like a small patch on the shoulder, but not all the teams have it. But pretty much the majority of all of them have sponsorship of some sort. And I was really floored by it because I had to look up the pictures, and I was like, this is kind of interesting, but yet nobody really talks about it, which is interesting. But like a few of the teams, let me see, for the good old Chicago Bulls, they've got something called Zenni Optical, which I've never heard of of this company. It's some sort of eyeglasses company of some sort. The Nuggets have got Western Union. The Brooklyn Nets have Motorola, which is, somebody should tell them that that company kind of doesn't really exist as it once did in some regard.
They got. Wait, what team has it?
The Brooklyn Nets.
Oh God, I forgot that was even a team.
Yeah,
well, I was gonna say
it used to be New Jersey, but they moved to Brooklyn.
Hey, Motorola still got Brooklyn Nets money.
Yeah.
What is that? $25 a jersey up for sponsorship?
Pretty much. Cleveland's got Goodyear. The Pacers have Motorola also. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with that Motorola. The Knicks have got Squarespace, which is kind of more hip for the Zoomers and the millennials. Oklahoma City has got Love's Travel Stops and Country Stores, which is big. I give them a big thumb up for that because I'm a huge fan of gas station convenience stores. Orlando has got Walt Disney World as their sponsor, which is kind of weird. Phoenix has got PayPal. Washington has Geico. So kind of interesting. But what are your thoughts on sponsorship?
I'm a capitalist, so if they need the money to keep their sport industry afloat, apparently, then there's nothing. It's kind of the market demands this behavior, and that's probably why Nike has their logo now, I think, on all of MLB uniforms that wasn't there before. But I mean, it's not like there's not precedent for corporate sponsorship of professional sports teams, so it's hard for me to be outraged about a Motorola emblem on a base or basketball jersey.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny though, the Lakers have got Wish.com. Which,
are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's a shady.
That's no surprise.
But yeah,
wasn't the Lakers with that fucking asshole who was like, "Oh, China great. I love China. China do no wrong." Who was that guy? Who was that idiot?
No, that was LeBron on Cleveland. Oh no, he is at LA now.
Yeah,
he was at Cleveland and then Miami, back to Cleveland. Now he's at LA. Yeah.
Was he? Where was he when he was talking about how great China is?
He's in LA.
Yeah, so there. Yeah. I rest my case. Yeah.
Well,
wheels and wheels, everybody. You got to follow the money.
Yeah, it's funny because, I mean, sports is about money, and it always ends up becoming money. I mean, I remember when there was a number of years, probably at least a decade now, Barcelona, the soccer team, or as I like to call them, Baby's First Soccer Club, because that's what all the kids in the suburbs want to wear is Barcelona jerseys. They had this long-standing tradition saying we're never going to have sponsors, never going to have this, blah blah blah, and now they've had multiple sponsors on their jerseys for at least like a decade and stuff. Which I think currently they're sponsored by somebody called Rakuten, which is some Japanese electrics company or some shit like that. So they basically kind of have followed the trend with practically everybody else in professional soccer.
Why couldn't it be Japan instead of China, and then we could get like great anime waifus on jerseys?
I know.
And like the hentai moaning pattern on jerseys.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want that on the Bulls.
That would be great. I would love that. Just get get one of your Japanese waifus as a Dakimakura pillow and just have her wearing like a Bulls jersey and nothing else.
Exactly.
Although, you'd end up having some angry people picketing outside of United Center, which would kind of suck. So
they do that already anyway.
Yeah, that's true. But then somebody has to tell them, Ringling Brothers doesn't exist anymore. So the elephants were all sent away.
Bunch of angry white people will be protesting the use of waifus, appropriating Japanese culture.
2D women have rights culture. Too. Meanwhile, the 3D. Go ahead.
I would say, speaking of 2D women, did you hear that Belle Delphine got into some trouble recently?
She did. Yeah, I heard about that. Why don't you tell all the children around the reading circle here what happened?
Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to talk about thoughts and simps and the relationship between thoughts and simps. Which, as a capitalist, I'm perfectly fine with.
I will be the drag queen in this reading section. My name is Jaja LaRue.
Speaking of, we'll talk about that movie later. But that movie you were asking about,
The Crying Game.
No, Funeral Parade of Flowers is Japanese transvestites. It's a good movie.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. I thought you'd be interested in that.
Body
as
pillow.
I was watching, this is a total aside, unrelated to Belle Delphine, but as I was watching, the beginning of the film starts with a sex scene, and I was like, oh, who's this black and white 1960s little hottie? And then it panned down, and I was thinking, wow, she really has a flat chest. That's odd. And then I was like, wait a second. What's this movie about?
Is she one of those female bodybuilders?
And I was like, I could be talked into this. He's so soft.
He's so soft and supple.
Speaking of soft and supple, Belle Delphine.
Just pretend it's a giant engorged clitoris.
Oh, dear Lord. It's like sleeping with China, the wrestler China. She's dead, isn't she?
Did you ever watch that porno?
Yeah, of course I did.
Okay, good. I knew you were.
Other wrestler. It was like that other wrestler was blowing like an 8-year-old.
X-Pac?
Was that who she was having sex with?
Well, that's.
I mean, that clip was like 2-3 inches long. That was come on.
Hell of a schlong.
But she definitely wasn't taking any kind of illicit substances.
No, absolutely not. She was clean, super clean.
Hey, this is the industry that you enjoy. You throw money at the wrestling people, and then they fill themselves up with hormones, and
then they go Chris Benoit and their family.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Okay, Belle Delphine, who famously was selling her bathwater for a prolonged period of time,
and then pee, I believe.
I do not think she was selling pee.
Was she? It was pee. I heard it was like Gamer Girl pee, maybe.
Fact check this. Belle Delphine.
Get Tony the intern on that.
Urine.
Hey, Damar, pull up that screen.
Oh. Controversial YouTuber Belle Delphine is now selling a tub of her own urine for $10,000 US.
A tub? How many ounces?
It's a tub.
Although she's British, so we have to use like metric. But they use both. The British are fucking weird. They use both imperial and metric.
That has to be illegal. It's not that big. I mean, it doesn't... Yeah. Mm. Oh, she got it taken down, I guess, because it is illegal to sell.
Yeah. It had the faintest sousant of bangers and mash in it.
Jesus. Anyway, so famously, she's done a lot of stunts to get attention from Twitter and OnlyFans and all of those groups. But recently, she got some heat from the Twitter mob, the Twitter users, I'll just read the article. This is from The Sun, that bastion of journalistic integrity, thesun.co.uk. Raunchy content creator, that's how you know it's journalistic objectivity, is when you start your story with raunchy.
Yes.
Raunchy content creator Belle Delphine has refused to apologize after fans accused her of, quote, promoting rape.
So her fans are the ones, they were saying that the fans are the ones that got mad
allegedly. Well, they're the people who followed her, so we'll see.
Oh, okay.
The gamer girl who garnered a huge following after posting saucy snaps, God, I hate British English, and videos online was criticized for a recent set of kidnap roleplay Twitter posts. She wrote alongside 4 photos, quote, my perfect first date, heart. The photos showed the content creator dressed in a light blue floral dress with tape over her mouth and her hands tied up behind her back. She was not wearing underwear.
Oh. That sounds like the perfect first date for me.
Rope tied around the ankles, wrists, and arms, and then having sex up against a tree with a man dressed in black with a ski mask on.
A Slav.
He said... I don't want to give you any more ideas, Alex. You've already got 2 kids. So the users freaked out. Sorry, but this shit should not be normalized. One user said, promoting hardcore kinks such as kidnap and rape just knocks me fucking sick. That sounds like another British person speaking.
Blimey.
Another added, how is Belle Delphine not permabanned? She literally posted a pretend child rape photo shoot, and all her stans are hyping it up and praising it. What's a stan?
Stand, it's a stupid... yeah,
it's a
like
reference
the whole
to
K-pop
Eminem.
shit. Yeah.
It's a reference to Eminem.
Eminem, and then also it's been utilized for like K-pop super fans.
How did a dumb boomer Eminem lyric become mainstay reference to like an obsessed fan? That's weird.
I have no idea. I need to do research on that one day. But yeah, no, it is.
Add it to your to-do list.
It is on my to-do list, along with getting diapers and doing fixing the light bulb in my SUV. No, it is also funny that since you just used the phrase "boomer" in reference to Eminem, considering he's been around for what, like 25 years now or something.
Isn't Eminem like 60 years old now?
He is, I believe so. Yeah, yeah.
He's almost 50.
Yeah. Yeah. And the dude's, I'm pretty sure he's still dyeing his hair like platinum blonde or some shit.
No, come on.
Is he not?
Come on,
that?
Dad. He hasn't done that for like 5 years.
Well, thank God, at least 5 years.
Well, it's been maybe 10. It's been a long time.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
All right.
All right.
He's hit that 10th mile.
Is Dr. Dre dead?
No.
Well, he had a brain aneurysm. Last I heard, he was trending on Twitter.
I heard he was getting raked over the coals by his ex-wife.
Oh, maybe that's why he had.
That's probably why, yeah. Because it's just like she wants like everything. And I didn't even know Dr. Dre had a fucking wife to begin with, and all of a sudden, when you find out he does have one, she's like, "I want everything you have."
Holy shit! You know what? Out of like all of these like Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, Lil Wayne's still young. 50 Cent's 45. Snoop Dogg looks like
death incarnate.
He hit the wall hard. Like
the wall comes for both sexes.
Yeah, but I mean, compared to Dre's 6 years older, and he looks 15 years younger.
I'd say Ice Cube looks pretty good for his age. He's always looked kind of the same.
Ice Cube looks good. Jay-Z looks pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, he always had like a youthful look to him and stuff like that. What do you think Kanye's going to look like after the divorce?
Oh, God. I don't know. He'll run for president again, probably. Just to like spite, what's her name? I never thought that anyone could make me feel bad for Kanye West, and yet somehow Kim Kardashian continues to be the worst person on the planet.
Anybody associated with the Kardashians is. Except Rob Kardashian. I mean, he got bloated and fat and started making socks. And
he's our guy.
He's our guy. He's a friend of the show.
So anyway, Belle Delphine.
Yeah.
I hate Belle Delphine. But really? I think that the hand-wringing and pearl clutching of the Twitter mob, even coming for Belle Delphine, is ridiculous.
I find it highly suspect that they are saying that it's her fan base that is the ones that are calling her out on this, when if they've been following her for how many years now, they should kind of know what's involved. And this thing is probably very milquetoast compared to what she was doing beforehand, selling bath water or selling pee and stuff like that.
That's what I mean. I think you start, like, if I was a pornographer,
yeah,
I would start with this and lead up to selling my urine. I would not lead with the urine and bath water. Because you're right, compared to that, this like BDSM within like a sundress is not particularly different.
Her whole shtick is the whole like, you know, pseudo Lolita innocent type of thing and stuff like that. And you know, at the same time, I'm guessing, was this posted on Twitter?
Yes, it was posted on Twitter.
There is so much stuff that goes on Twitter that Twitter does not do anything, and nobody really even gets supposedly quote unquote outraged about. But apparently, I can't believe I'm sort of in a sense defending her, kind of, you know, just Pontius Pilating this whole thing.
I don't care what she does to make a living.
She's been making bank on this stuff, and people have been doing it. And now all of a sudden people are finding, oh, she's gone a little too far this time. It's like, no,
it's not even that far. There's a million The thing about it is there are a billion other photos like this on the internet. I've heard that you can find, and nobody gives a fuck about it because why would you?
Yeah, nobody gives because it's nothing that's outrageous. I'm assuming the only reason she's getting called out about it is because it happens to be her doing this.
She's 21 years old.
Damn.
So even in porn spectrum, she's on the older side. So the whole
how's she looking
she's
compared
dressing
to
up,
Ice Cube?
She's dressing like a little girl. It's like, who the fuck cares?
It's part of the I mean, they have like the stepdaughter, kind of genre. They've got the MILF genre. This is all part of the whole like fantasy aspect of it.
Well, and what boggles my mind is that the Twitter world pushes itself, or like positions itself, I should say, as being this very progressive, open-minded group of people.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole kink shaming thing is one of what they like to express often and discuss often, and talk about how you shouldn't be judging people for whatever they do, whatever consenting adults do, which I don't care about that. I mean, I still think I can judge your shit.
Yeah.
If you're having your husband poop on your face when you come home from work, I don't care that you do it.
That's your prerogative.
But I am going to make fun of you for doing it.
I will still say your husband.
I don't
is
care if it
pooping
hurts your feelings. Yes, It's still the ultimate reality. Yes, you're right. Ultimately, you're still getting pooped on, and I can laugh at that and judge it. I don't care that you do it, but I'm sure it's fucking gonna judge you for doing it.
Don't poop in my living room.
Put down the shower curtain if you're gonna do it. That's all I ask. Leave it the way you found it, or actually leave it better. If you're gonna poop in my living room, when you leave, no poop, and you should have like a flower on the table.
Yes.
So leave it better than when you found it. But so it's like what it comes down to me, Alex. Don't tell anyone.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of jealous people that are looking at what Belle Delphine's doing, and suddenly it's.
I mean,
like,
I've seen. Okay, I sound like I'm defending her again. I don't know.
Hey, I don't. Neither of us, I think, are. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Belle Delphine. I think that she's kind of trashy, personally.
Yes, she's British too.
Well, there's that. That's a whole other issue.
That also, works against her. I don't know if she's an Irish traveler though.
What's that?
An Irish traveler, but yeah,
she sounds mentally incapacitated whenever
she might be from the East End. Who knows? But I mean, I've seen her with all the makeup and the hair stuff, and I've seen her without, and she's still kind of a little cute without the makeup and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's only because she's kind of built up this kind of following and empire based upon what she looks like and what she's known for. And she's always played this kind of like innocent Lolita type of baby doll kind of things and stuff like that. So it's just...
She was born in South Africa. No wonder she sounds like she has a mental deficiency.
Does she know Ninja and Yolandi?
She moved to England and settled in Lymington, Hampshire.
Hampshire, yeah.
Do you know where Lymington, Hampshire is?
No.
I'm looking at a map. This doesn't mean anything to me.
How many years ago does she does have a weird like English accent, which it might be South African.
I think it's the blend.
The Afrikaners. I don't know if she is Afrikaners. No.
I looked at this map for Lymington, and it reminded me. Have you ever seen that picture or that clip from? I think it was a Superman or like Justice League animated series where Lex Luthor switches bodies with the Flash, and he's like, well, at least I get to find out the secret identity of the Flash. Mm-hmm. He takes off the mask and he's staring in the mirror and he's like, I have no idea who this is. That's how I felt looking at this map, because it's just like it's. I can't tell. It doesn't show the entire country. It's just this detail, mm-hmm. and I'm like, I have no idea what part of England.
Are you doing it on Google Maps and zooming out?
No, it was on Wikipedia.
Oh. Congratulations, 20 years of Wikipedia.
Congratulations, Wikipedia.
Yeah, stop asking me for fucking money.
So it's like Southern England. I've donated to Wikipedia before.
Do you ever write it down for that stuff?
No, I don't. I don't even know how to do it. All I do is show up at H&R Block and say, "Give me money," and then I come back an hour later and they're like, "You made this much money back," and I'm like, "Yeah." That's how I do my taxes.
Leamington, Yarmouth. Oh, that place looks pretty. It looks pretty comfy.
So it's southern England.
Isn't that where Felix and Marcia live? Because they're in Brighton, though.
I don't know.
You don't know them?
I don't know where they live.
Okay.
I'm not a PewDiePie simp, Alex.
Oh, I'm not either. I'm just asking for a friend.
So Alex and I aren't big fans of her, but I have to say, major props to Belle Delphine for refusing to apologize about this shit. Alex and I have talked about this many times, where if you get into trouble on the internet, when the internet mob comes knocking, just either don't say anything or say fuck off, because that's how you handle it. She pinned that tweet now to her feed, so it's always the number one tweet, and she basically said, "Sorry, but fuck this shit. I do not apologize for this," and I think she's being a little disingenuous about that. She's not trying to dress up a bit like a little girl. I think it's kind of obvious that's what she was going for, but she should have just ignored that part of it. If I was her, I would have been like, "I'm an adult woman. I can do whatever I want, so fuck off. I don't apologize." Good for her. Yeah. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it these days.
Belle Delphine gets the kudos from Culture Doom January edition.
I mean, I guess because going into this, I was kind of thinking to myself, I was like, okay, since we're doing these like a once a month type of thing, because I procreated a second time.
Damn it.
Throwing a wrench into everybody's plans. Because we all had so many plans to go out and do things and enjoy the outside world. Because
that's why you throwing your wrench into it is even more painful for me, because now on Wednesday nights I just sit here in front of Audacity with Skype open, hoping maybe you'll come on, and I just talk.
You should call the Dr. Fraser Crane show. He's always listening.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That might be a funny show. Just start calling talk radio shows and recording the conversation as my show.
But I was going to say, like, because last year, I mean, we did it was pretty much kind of like the quote-unquote Corona-chan arc, but we were very consistent. And, I mean, apart from there was some episodes where we really didn't have much to talk about. It was kind of similar to, like, previous episodes in the years prior to that, where there were some episodes that were kind of like, I don't have much to talk about, let's just chit-chat about whatever.
Like this episode.
I've got some topics, mostly complaining about things because I'm old. But yeah, it's the baby arc now. It's moved from the Corona-chan arc to now the baby arc, because it seems like Corona-chan is slowly ending, because I think Chicago and New York said that they should open up businesses now or some shit. I saw some shit like that.
Yeah, Lori Lightfoot, the mayor of Chicago, said that she would talk to the governor about opening up Chicago, but Pritzker came out today and opened up other parts of the state besides us, or Chicago. Oh. You might be on the list. I don't know.
Am I in the, God, what list?
The list? No, not the culling list. They don't know. They don't know about that yet.
I was going to talk about how, did you ever find it stupid and kind of silly the way that they would, that you have to pay for shipping and handling when you buy something online? Like, kind of how they make it like a whole separate section where they're like, oh, now you get to choose how you want to have it shipped and handled to you. And it's like, it's a foregone conclusion that I'm going to have this shit shipped to me, because I don't live anywhere near the greater Los Angeles area. So
what the fuck are you talking about? You're upset that they offer you options for how you want it shipped to you?
I'm saying that I find it very funny how they're kind of like, oh, by the way, you need to have this shipped to you. It's like, well, yeah, no shit, because I'm buying this online. I'm not going to be anywhere near your store or your warehouse. So I have to pay for shipping and handling. Like they like, whenever you see like whatever Tupperware or Ron Popeil's shake and bake machine or Pocket Fisherman, and you have to pay for shipping and handling. It's like, so what if I just bought the product and didn't pay for shipping and handling? Does that mean that I have one of your units in your warehouse that is mine, that I can that is just going to keep there? And then I can choose to pay for shipping and handling afterwards, like to ship it to me like 4 months down the road.
You are a madman,
I
Alex. This is what you know. What this is?
Parenthood does to you.
This is you being home watching commercials or something, and having nothing else to do, and being like, all that the shipping and handling means is that it's not included in the base fee that you're paying.
I know, but
it's not like you can choose to pay shipping and handling or not.
You have to.
You have to pay it on top of what you're. Yeah.
Well, they should just include that.
But you have options. How fast do you want it, buddy?
Sometimes you don't. I think like in all of those like 1999 things that you see on like they're like, oh, call now and you get 2 of these things for the price of one.
This is the kind of Alex topic that I missed for the last month.
No, you didn't.
Where everybody sits around their podcast listening device and is like, what the hell is Alex talking about? He's angry about the shipping and handling. Okay, so honestly, I haven't paid shipping and handling directly in 10 years, however long I've had Amazon Prime. Yeah. I only buy stuff 99% of the time that I can get free 2-day shipping, which is I'm free in quotes, as in I pay for it once a year for $120 for the year, but I definitely use it quite a bit. Yeah. So,
this kind of goes into another thing where I had to renew my license this past week, and I
have to do that too. We're on the same schedule.
Yeah. I had the thing where it's like I wanted to go and get the real ID, which the government should know all the information about me to begin with, but in order to do it, I had
to ask Google.
Yeah. I had to get like my birth certificate, my social, my voter registration card, a bunch of different documents on top. Like for Illinois, I don't know if it's just Illinois specific. It probably is because Illinois is a fucking dipshit state. But I needed a million things. But the thing I needed was my birth certificate, which I did not have. So I had to basically go online and order my birth certificate from Cook County and then have it shipped to me. So then in that case, I had my option that, hey, if you want to have it normally done, it's going to take you between 45 to 50 business days. Or if you like to pay an additional fee, you can have it UPS 2-day air and get it to you. Like, yeah.
How much does that cost?
I think it was like $16 or something like that.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say 60. 2-day air is usually a pretty hefty fee.
Yeah, it was.
Aren't they they're going to fly it from Cook County to
You can fucking drive it from there to Champaign in 3 hours.
I know. I mean,
they're
going to fly it to Champaign. But they'll be in the air for 45 minutes.
But the thing, the stupid thing was that the processing time was based upon how you shipped it. So if you did like regular land, like I said, 3-hour drive, it would have taken 45 days for them to process it because it's on such a back burner for them. They're like, we don't care. The machine will just fucking pop it out whenever. It's system automated. So I had to I just decided to I took a look to see what it was like overnight, and I'm like, no, I'm going to do 2-day air instead. So I was able to go ahead and get that wonderful little star on my driver's license, which is still being shipped from Springfield. That's how stupid it is. I can't even get the damn thing from the DMV I went to the same day I'm there. I have to wait, like, I think he said like 10 business days for it to come from Springfield, because it all has to come from Springfield now.
How did we start talking about... Oh, because of shipping.
Shipping.
That's why. I was like...
I kind of transitioned.
You transitioned to your... So wait, really quick, to go back to your issue with shipping and handling in general.
Yeah.
But you do understand that, like, even with Amazon Prime, I still get the option generally where it's like, if you need it in an emergency the next day.
Correct. Yeah. If you want to pay an extra.
For $15, there's an extra fee. So it's like, how bad do you want it? One thing I learned with Amazon is to not trust that, because what it's saying is, once they ship it, how fast will it get to you? It doesn't mean necessarily, depending on who the seller is, that you're going to get it the next day. Mm-hmm. And that sucks, because I once paid like $15 for next day shipping, and then it took a week for them to actually ship it. And I was angry. And I've learned my lesson because of that.
Yeah. I also just, it's kind of, it's kind of like also for me, it's like kind of like a foregone conclusion. There is one place I do know I've bought stuff from in the past that says, hey, if you're in this local New Jersey area, you can come by our warehouse and pick up the items yourself, or we can ship it to you. So there's the option, but it's like
local New Jersey. Come on down to this New Jersey warehouse.
It was Gundam
in the
Planet.
Middle of nowhere.
It's Gundam Planet. I got some stuff from there a while back. But yeah, it's like if you're near, so like if I'm near a local Amazon distribution hub, because we have one here in Champaign or in Urbana, one of the two places. And I'm like,
oh, this is where this is going.
Like if I just walk in there and be like, hey, can I just come out in there and go and picky packy whatever my stuff is that I want to go and get? It's primarily for my wife. And I'd be like, would Jeff Bezos be like, okay, sure, find it in this like 50,000.
Yes, that is exactly what would happen. They call Jeff up and be like, hey, Jeff, Alex is here. He wants to pick up his stuff. He'd be like, oh, yeah, that's fine. We definitely have the infrastructure for multiple. Yeah, I don't know what he says. He sounds like Kermit the Frog, in my opinion. I don't know. I've never heard him speak, so I just look at his head. And it's like,
which Muppet does he remind me of? Kermit the Frog here.
Yeah, there you go. You do a better impression than me.
Yeah. But yeah, it just kind of like, oh, Alex is here. Okay, we'll go ahead and let him go and pick out his things.
Hey, speaking of Jeff Bezos.
Yes, the richest man. Or is he no longer the richest man in the world? Has he been beaten?
The other guy is.
Elon?
Our guy. Elon.
Papa Elon.
Eli?
Elon.
Elon. Elon Musk is the richest man in America or on the planet. But that's not what I want to talk about. Did you want to talk about Elon?
No, I'm just happy to hear that now.
Speaking of Jeff Bezos?
Amazon guy.
Amazon guy. Do you ever wink at people?
No.
Have you ever winked at anyone? Not including
my son.
Obviously exaggerated theatrical winking, as in saying like, I'm taking her out for drinks tonight. Wink, wink,
Oh, no.
The like over the top winking.
That's the only winking I have, unless there's like a speck of dust in my eye. Too.
There seems like there was a period when we were children where adult men winked at little boys all the time, and I don't know what that was all about. Maybe it was just me.
You would wink at little boys?
No. When I was a little boy, I feel like adult men winked at me all the time. Or like elderly. Adult, like 50-plus-year-old men would wink at me.
Oh, well, maybe
that never happened.
No. I would not hang out in those clubs.
Maybe it was because I was selling my piss. No,
a tub of 12-year-old boy.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how husky is he? Oh, I'd say an 8.
That was a different. When I was 12, I wasn't that husky. I was still fairly svelte at 12. Nice smooth skin.
Then you started eating Twinkies and just throwing away the actual baked part of it.
Then puberty hit and it was all over. That was the end of it. I remember. It was like fifth grade. It was, or no, sixth grade. No, fifth grade is sixth. Yeah, sixth grade.
Yeah, sixth, seventh.
It was the end of the end of it. Junior high, and it was like, it all fell apart.
Yeah.
But more
I looked behind me and I was like, why does my ass look like J-Lo's? I felt so bad. I'm like, well, I'll always be able to have a career as a background dancer in a rap video.
But I think it's interesting that winking seems to be something from a bygone era. I feel like people used to wink at each other a lot more than they do now. I don't think anyone winks at each other anymore.
Not unless you want to get in trouble and, be canceled. Hashtag. Do you remember when it used to be called the pound sign?
Yes.
Pound sign canceled? Or just pound canceled?
Pound was an offensive term.
Well.
So, like, for example, in that movie, Home Alone, Joe Pesci winks at the kid.
Kevin
McAllister.
Yeah. And he sees his gold tooth.
Yeah, this is a thing. This is a thing that happened, and in real life. Like, I'm not just being dramatic. I remember like standing next to my mom and like just to continue on the holiday thing. I remember like she'd see someone that she knew. We'd be at Carson Peary Scott, and they'd come over and my mom would be talking and I'd be bored, and then the adult would say something like, "Oh, have you been a good boy for Santa?" And then they'd wink at me, and I was like, "Are you trying to butt fuck me?" You know what I mean? So it was just, I remember it routinely happening that I would get winked at by adults. So I don't know.
Was it primarily older men, or was it just?
It was usually men. It was supposed to be like a knowing, like, hey buddy, how you doing, buddy?
Good buddy.
Not a flirty thing, I hope.
How do you do, fellow stonecutter?
No matter how much I like drop something and like put my butt up and pick stuff up, nothing ever came of it when I tried to seduce older men.
You kind of wiggle it side to side.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Oh, oops, I've dropped me teddy bear." Oh, that's disturbing.
Would you have been? Well, I would have been considered like a pob, a fat ass white boy.
Anyway, all I'm saying is, don't worry, I'll never wink at your kids.
I like the sound of your pants as they swipe between your thighs.
I feel like it's like a grandpa thing now. A grandpa would wink.
I think it's grandpa kind of like they try to be like, "Hey, here's a nickel behind your ear." It's like,
it's like,
Gramps,
"How you doing, shorty? You been a good boy?" Wink,
wink.
It's like, okay.
There's like some, it's kind of like there's some unspoken secret lingo between.
It's like, I know that you're a mischievous kid, but I'm going to ask if you've been good. You know, that kind of thing.
And be good for Santa. I know you know that you know where your parents store all the toys and stuff.
Speaking of that, though, all my winking emojis.
Yes, you and I do
tons of emoji winking. Yeah, I think we both do.
Yeah, Nicholas tries to do winking, but he just ends up like blinking his eyes. Blinking. You think that's bad? You should watch him brush his teeth.
No, not in the ear.
I love my children.
Not in the ear, Nicholas. Imagine someday Nicholas is 20 years old and listening to this shit.
Well,
you can play it for his 21st birthday when his friends are over.
Well, I just wish that he'll have at least enough love for me at that point that he'll put me in one of those retirement homes where they at least rotate you twice a day in the bed.
It's only 20 years from now, Alex.
Yeah. Have you seen Millennials? Have you seen the Millennials, Brendan?
Oh my God.
It's going to be bad.
I'm going to throw up now that I've said that.
Mm-hmm. Although they say that the Millennials stand to be the most wealthiest generation.
Wait, the Millennials or the Zoomers?
No, the Millennials, surpassing the baby boomers. Because here's the reason for this. According to economists, because we know economists are never wrong. According to economists, they're saying it's because the boomers are supposedly going to be handing off all their wealth to the millennials. And I'm thinking to myself, that's only going to happen if they actually love their children, which they don't.
You're going to say you're going to have to murder your brother.
No, it'll be split evenly.
Well, that's what I mean. Well, then neither of you are going to be rich.
I'm trying to bring some joy and happiness to this year because it's starting off just as bad as 2020.
Well, was there ever any doubt that 2021 was going to suck as much as 2020? No. Because here's the thing. 2020 didn't suck when it started.
Mm-mm.
It was a downward, like January was fine. February was fine. I remember my birthday was fine.
Even March was fine. And then
that's what I mean. Yeah, I think beginning halfway through March.
I think really May is when it started hitting its stride. April's kind of this we're treading water and stuff like that, and then May hit and all the fucking celebrities were doing their fucking Imagine song, and you wish the purge was real and you could go after them.
Have you been drinking, Alex?
I have been drinking. I've had a pint full of both whiskey, actually eggnog whiskey, and
you're still
Kahlua. Drinking
eggnog whiskey. I have not had anything for 2 weeks now.
It's been 2 weeks since New Year's. What's going on here?
That's what I mean. Is I stopped drinking New Year's Day.
Really?
As in end of New Year's Day. So it's been exactly 2 weeks since I had a drink.
What did you do with it? Is it still just in your cabinet?
No, I've drank it all. I drank it all on New Year's Day.
Jesus Christ.
That's what I mean. I was doing that.
Keiko had to pump your stomach.
I was doing the movie stream.
Oh, yeah.
So and you were having a baby.
And I tried to get into your stream to
you.
watch it because I was having a baby, and I couldn't get the video to play. But I mean, we were able to watch it prior, so I was kind of, I was there in spirit.
I was tempted to pick up something on my way home because I knew we were doing a show tonight, and I was like, this is a perfect excuse to break my promise to not drink this month, because what am I trying to prove? And then I was like, no.
Save some money.
You're only as good as your word. Mm-hmm. And so I have to know thyself and whatever. Also, I realized after 2 weeks of sobriety that like I had fallen really deep into this. I'm drinking because I'm depressed because I'm drinking. Mm-hmm. Vicious circle. I'm looking forward to rejoining that circle. Don't get me wrong. Like I definitely miss drinking. But I'm putting it off for a month.
Okay, so come February 1st.
Oh yeah. What is it? February 1st? Is that like a Monday? It is a Monday.
You'll be right back at
wasted. Yes. I'm going to bring a bottle with me. No drinking and driving, but I can definitely start drinking at 9 a.m. on Monday.
Oh, that's good. That's good. What are you planning on enjoying that day, imbibing in?
I'm debating between the Aaron 10-year-old, because it was Ralphie's Scotch of the Year, or Glenn Farkless 12-year-old, because my mom gave me, this is just not to like wax my own car here, but my mom gave me a gift card for Benny's, the alcohol super center, and I have held on to it even though it's free alcohol.
Yeah.
Like it would be so easy.
Oh yeah.
To go to stop him. You know where Benny's is.
Benny's to you is basically kind of like Menards to me.
Yeah, I just stop by on my way home.
Like I would be like if you left me unattended there like a small child, I would be there for 3 hours and be like,
it's and my only mom at Walmart.
Yeah, I mean it's worse than Walmart for me. I mean at least I have power tools and I can buy like I need at least like 3 tons of River Rock. Can you get that delivered to me? I just want to buy.
What do you use River Rock for?
That's the stuff that's around my house, like that. The bordering.
Oh, okay.
It's got the River Rock, and then underneath it's got like the weed cover, or the weed barrier, and then there's like the brickwork around it.
I don't know that I've ever been outside of your home for a prolonged period of time in the daylight. I know what. Now looking at the picture, I can picture it. Like looking at River Rock, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. But I can't say that I've only walked to and from cars in your driveway.
Not my car.
Or sat in the backyard with a fire at night.
That was nice, yeah. I do like that, the fire thing. That's the best thing about living out here. I don't have to worry about burning shit in fire.
Except burning your home
I need to get brand new like walkway lights, like the solar little lights.
Oh yeah.
Because I have 4 and only one of them is working, and he's like barely lit up at this point. I feel I feel embarrassed.
I feel pathetic.
I look at other people.
Say I feel pathetic.
I do feel pathetic. I'm embarrassed, and I look at like my neighbors, and I'm just like, son of a biscuit. I'm like, look at this. I'm like, that guy across the street. I'm like, he's a deputy, and he works the night shift, and his fucking lights are on, and mine aren't, and I get to be home during the night and to enjoy them outside like a weirdo.
Erica's going to leave you for the neighbor because he has better lawn equipment, lawn lighting than you do.
That's fine. I won't even put up a struggle. I'll be like, that's okay. I understood it. It was a long time coming.
Aw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of your better half, how is Erica doing?
She's okay. She's kind of gotten back to 100%. Or for the most part, 100% is what she was prior. She's very happy because now she's able to wear regular underwear instead of like.
Stop it! Do not tell.
No, she showed me that today. She's like, "Hey, check it out."
I was trying to use this for the show. I can't have you talking about Erica's underwear on the program.
What's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it. Anyways.
Well, I'll text Erica and ask how she feels about this question.
No, she's probably sleeping. She's got Zachary.
Not
in
now.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not going to text her now. I'll text her in the her in the morning when I usually talk to her.
No, she's doing good. She was kind of, I mean, after it does take some time after giving birth to kind of not feel in the whole kind of biological birth type of thing and stuff like that. Although she did say that for several days following the whole process, after she gave birth, I think it was like her left leg was kind of sore or in pain, and she thinks it was probably because of the epidural that she got. So that was kind of one thing that was sort of nagging issue and stuff like that afterwards.
Now that you mention it, I think you did bring up the fancy underwear that she was putting together.
Yeah, it's kind of
on the last episode, because she texted us and was like, "I'm sorry that my husband told you about this."
Well, they're kind of like special on not really underwear, but they're kind of like pads that are used to like cool and kind of
it's like aloe vera.
Yeah, aloe vera, witch hazel, and things like that. And she'd done it previously when we had Nicholas, and then she did it again this time. So she had a little assembly line going, and I kind of would like help fold stuff up and wrap stuff, and we freeze it. We put it in the deep freezer because it's soothing, because there's a lot of soreness and pain and throbbing and stuff, which happens afterwards. So it's something they also give her stuff in the hospital afterwards, and they probably give it for everybody.
Anyway, Alex, sorry, I derailed us.
No, that's fine. Do you know what time it is, Brendan?
What time is it, Alex?
It's time for Professor Alex's fascinating factoids and other such trivia.
I've been waiting all year for this.
All 2 weeks sober.
I know, God. Speaking this really quick, one quick sober thing. People were freaking out and talking about breaking their New Year's resolution, their dry January stuff, because of the Capitol riots.
Yeah.
And I was like, you pussies. You were looking for a reason to quit. Put on your nightmare goggles with the rest of us. And nothing looks different.
Everything. Are these things even on?
Professor Alex, what fascinating factoids do you have to share with us to kick off the year 2021?
All right. Our first factoid of the year is regarding sports, and it has to do Canadian sports. Canadian football rules allow for 12 players per side in their games, as compared to 11 per side for American rules football.
Do they have any justification for this alteration?
Just an extra player. They're Canadian. I mean, you know what my opinion is on Canada. It's the same for Austria and New Zealand.
I enjoyed watching the Australian baseball game.
It
was kind of like watching Little League.
Played by adults.
Yes.
Honestly, it reminded me of like college baseball.
Exactly. Yeah, it really did.
Where there's no bleachers, and like there's barely anybody in the stands, and everybody has terrible looking uniforms.
The King County Cougars are much more advanced
baseball
team than anything I was watching on that Australian game.
We got the Leinenkugels Liney Lodge there. We got the Johnsonville Brats Grandstand. Yeah, definitely good stuff. God, I want those pork chops. I want to take my kid there so badly.
Yeah, you'll make it.
I will. I hope to God I will.
Oh my God, Alex, it's going to be okay, baby. You'll be all right.
Okay.
You'll be able to go to Disney World with your kids. You'll be able to go to see a baseball game, the Cougars game, a Cubs game, maybe even a Sox game.
No.
But Len's over there now.
Well, I don't get to see Len. Unless I'm sitting,
you can bring your AM/FM radio with you. like a true boomer.
Look like Steve Bartman. All right, our second factoid of the month has to do with the great state of Illinois. I say that facetiously. And it has to do with some agriculture news. In the 2019 corn harvest for Illinois, Illinois farms were able to harvest 1,846,000,000 bushels of corn, which at the time was coming out to be worth about $7,107,870,000. So a very successful corn harvest for 2 years ago.
That's a lot of corn.
Yep. Some of my family through marriage are harvesting that I only had the corn. I didn't have the beans information. Didn't look that up.
That's good.
Yep. Nicholas is a huge fan of picking sweet corn and putting it in the bucket, which he's a 2-year veteran now of. So he's looking forward to this year's sweet corn harvest.
Is that the third factoid?
No, that was a little anecdote. The third factoid happens to do with with Filippo Brunelleschi, who was the designer of the dome for the Florence Cathedral. He happens to be buried in the cathedral's crypt following his death in 1446.
Hey, he died as he lived.
Yep, he got to be buried underneath the magnificence of the Florence Cathedral, which I believe my parents were able to visit and see when they did their giant excursion through Europe, consisting of England, France, Italy, Germany, maybe Switzerland. I don't know. They went in this huge, like, multi-country trek before I was born. They had all these fun trips before I was born, and then I ruined it for them.
Hey, it's sort of like your kids.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, Erica and I kind of think like we should have gone more places. Now we have kids. Now we have to wait for multiple years.
Hey, I can take care of them. You guys go off and have an adventure, and I'll take care of the boys.
Put a little bit of a 10-year single malt on their lips, and they'll be out for a couple hours.
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything nefarious like that. I would definitely just use NyQuil.
Well, then I'm going to stay with you guys too.
Exactly. Erica can go off on an adventure, and we'll just stay home.
Here's $3,000. Go away.
The kids will be drunk on NyQuil, and we'll be drunk on single malt. It'll be a very quiet weekend.
What did you guys do this weekend? We binge watched all of Frasier and slept.
And we watched seasons 1 through 4 of Next Generation. Even the kids did. I mean, they weren't actually awake, but they were in the room.
They had so many questions.
Speaking of Next Gen,
yeah.
Sorry, that just reminded me because I was watching Next Generation. The reason I was asked to do the show later was because I was eating dinner and didn't know if I was going to finish in time.
Uh-huh.
And I was watching because I revisited the Mike and Rich talk about Star Trek episode, and they were talking briefly about the episode where Geordi meets the real Leah Brahms.
Yeah, Leah Brahms. Mm-hmm.
And wait, no, not that episode. The one with sorry, that was the other episode I watched. The one I wanted to talk to you about was when Riker is injured on that alien planet, and they're investigating him, and Lilith is there, and she wants to fuck him because he's an alien.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that they actually had sex. Did you remember that?
I don't recall them actually having.
So Lilith is like, if you want to escape, we have to have. Well, have sex with me because it's like my biggest fantasy is to have sex with an alien. And he's like, whoa, like there's biological differences. And she's like, I can't wait to find out.
That's his biggest thing. And then
they look at each other, and then it cuts to a different scene, and then it cuts back, and she's taking him out of the medical section, and is like, this is the way to go to get out of here. And she's like, will I ever see you again? And he's like, I'll call you if I'm ever in the star system again. And I was like, holy shit, I forgot he fucked her.
Did he just bend her over a table? Yes. I mean if that's how they did that, it sounds like it was just
can't believe
that quick.
Yeah, it was like, well, you don't, I mean, it's like,
it is Riker.
Time passes different, depends what the gravitational pull on that planet is like.
What is Lilith's gravitational pull?
3 minutes on that planet is like an hour on the Enterprise. So it depends. It's all relative, buddy.
God, well, can you imagine?
So I tell women in my life, I'm like, hey, if we were on Jupiter, that would have been an hour.
Can you imagine how bad Riker would have been if he came across 7 of 9? Or T'Pol?
Lord. Yeah, she wasn't in,
or Dax.
In Picard. She doesn't show up. Dax.
God.
Dax is more complicated.
I mean,
he would have been interested, though.
He would have been, because he did have the androgynous species. Tell me about your genitals, or whatever the fuck she said. Although I wouldn't have Jadzia Dax, I probably would. If it was Ezri Dax, I would have been like like Riker in a heartbeat.
I would have been like Lilith. I would have been like, I'll free you if we can have sex, because you're an alien and I want to have sex with an alien lady.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you don't like cut my head off and, put your babies in my corpse.
What if it was like a female Klingon?
No. I always pictured Worf's penis having like ridges on it, like
barbs.
Spikes. Yeah, I always pictured it having barbs, like a cat penis or something.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Well,
Do they ever deal with this? Is there an Anatomy of Klingons book?
There was a book. Oh God, I got a book one time. It wasn't about Klingon anatomy, but there was this book about Star Trek book that I owned, which talked about like kind of stories from each of the different planets, and it had to do with like some of the background of each of them. And I can't recall what it was, but they talked about the Q continuum too, which was kind of neat. God, I think my mom donated all those books to like a library, which I'm kind of both upset about, but then also I'm like, okay, they went to a good home and stuff like that. Kind of like at the end of Toy Story 3 when Andy gives all of his toys to Bonnie, where I'm like, it's still my toys, but at least it's going to be used by somebody who appreciates them and will play with them. So, but then that also includes my Batman Predator comic.
Double Klingon penis was Star Trek canon before Discovery?
I hate Discovery.
Yeah,
J.J. Abrams ruined two of my favorite franchises.
Apparently, I have to read more into this, but the Klingons had two penises. That's cool. Anyway, well, thank you, Professor Alex. That was truly enlightening, and I'm so happy to hear you again after all this time.
I am very happy to be here, as I am every time we record.
I don't know if I'm supposed to treat Professor Alex as a separate person, or if he's just Alex with a little hat on.
He's a separate person. He's left the room.
Okay, bye, Alex.
Thank God.
Bye, Professor Alex.
You can fuck off until next time.
So finally tonight, I have a news article once again from independent.co.uk, which is
the beacon of hard-hitting journalism from the United Kingdom.
This looks like this is not from England though, because the police vests say Policia.
Policia?
Maybe it's
Italian?
Spain. I can't.
Or Spain?
Is it Spain? Italian? Hold on. Maybe if I read the article, we'll find out together. Police mistaken as strippers after they raid it's Argentinian. Police mistaken for strippers after raiding Argentine swingers party.
Ooh.
The sex party was breaking COVID rules. That's why they were there.
They didn't have the plexiglass
dividers.
Yeah.
When a swingers party was raided by police, actually that gets back to I'm sure you saw the pictures of that politician fleeing the Capitol with his he looked like Bruce Willis in 12 Monkeys with that inflatable headpiece thing on. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
his little inflatable mask.
Yeah. I didn't even believe. I was like, what decade? I thought, I'm like, did you guys still have these from like the old Cold War era? Because they honestly look like that shit.
Anyway, when a swinger party was raided by police, the guests believed the uniformed officers were strippers who were highlights of the show.
I'd say.
20 couples were discovered breaking COVID-19 restrictions at the secret sex party in the Argentine city of Mar del Plata, which is 380 kilometers south of the capital, Buenos Aires. Police went to the party at a remote farm. It's always at a remote farm. It's like that's the Boeing guy who got a perforated colon from a horse was on a remote farm.
Oh, was it
Mr. Hands?
Yeah, Mr. Hands, Equine or Equus or whatever.
Equus is a play.
Okay, I thought wasn't there like a movie or something made about this?
Yeah, Zoo is the name of the
movie.
Zoo.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, have you ever seen that?
No, unfortunately not.
I saw that in a movie theater.
I have seen some videos involving.
Sure,
horses.
We've all been there.
Yep.
I mean, we've all seen the videos.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is a video of Mr. Hands himself, but it's not the video. Oh. It's widely circulated as the video of him dying, but it's not. Well, that's just his normal fun time.
Well, if it's
It's hard to tell the difference.
I mean, if it's the closest thing possible, then that's what you can
just
get.
Picture this, but with more blood. That's what it's the same video. Just
imagine being the horse.
I don't know that the horse really cared. How much lube do you think that requires?
Well, I remember they used to sell like 70-gallon barrels of lube on Amazon during Prime Day.
Oh yeah, they're like oil drums.
Yeah. I was just like, geez, this is a little much.
Police went to the party at a remote farm after a caller complained that the couples were using the farm for, quote, unusual reasons. When officers entered the building, they found the place decorated with candelabras, purple lighting, and sex videos were playing.
Well, that's just a giveaway.
We realized that they thought we were part of the show, that we were strippers, a police source told InfoBay, a local online newspaper. Nice. InfoBay. BAE also, like literally InfoBay.
Oh, God.
A woman who was among the guests at the swingers party approached a police officer and told him, "What lovely eyes you have. You turned me on." A judicial source said, "We knew what the theme of the party was because of a video which was playing, among other things." These are detectives cutting right to the chase. Deductive ability is key to being a police officer. Gustavo Yara, a secretary for General Security for Mar del Plata, said the couples were respectful and joked about what happened. Well, at least they were cordial.
Yeah.
I would hope that people at the orgy are cordial. You want to get like fun orgy, not creepy orgy, like Eyes Wide Shut orgy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to bust an orgy, you want like bored middle-class housewife orgy.
Don't attract too much attention.
Well, you don't want decadent mansion rich people orgy. Those are the ones where they kill everyone.
The candelabras that they were mentioning were starting to kind of... You're starting to be a little too much of your own good.
They were actually spray gold plastic candelabras. Yeah. They got them from Party City. Most of the people did not know what happened when we arrived. One of them, when they realized we were not strippers, told us, "Oh, we enjoyed the show. It was comical and absurd at the same time," Mr. Jara said. Okay. All those present at the party, which happened last weekend, will face fines. Restrictions on the size of meetings in Argentina, blah, 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 COVID-19. Yeah, so that's it. The rest of it's about COVID-19. Point is police have to deal with horrifying pitfalls of busting COVID-19 riddled orgies in Argentina.
So how did they get the tip off again?
The neighbor reported unusual activities. I wonder if they were wearing masks too. Frankly, I would be disappointed if I was invited to an orgy and it was just like a swinger party with... You show up like as a single? Well, yeah, showing up as a single is always frowned upon.
Going stack.
But I mean, I would want some theatricality to my orgy.
Mm-hmm. A theme, perhaps?
I've seen too much... Well, I've seen too much, like I grew up with Eyes Wide Shut, and then they did it again in season 2 of True Detective, like the costume orgy.
Mm-hmm.
I need that decorum. I need satin drapes and masks
and a mansion
and a mansion,
yeah,
and a cleanup crew that just follows you around. And what the thing about an orgy would be troubling for me is like you come in, you're there for like 15 minutes, and then like you finish, and then it's like, what do I do now?
I guess I'll just leave.
Do I just show myself out? Like, do I have to like?
Does the cleanup crew need some assistance?
Exactly. Do anyone have a tissue? No. Clearly, nobody has a tissue.
Is there a kitchen around here I can make a sandwich at or something?
Yeah, it's like sandwich or like, can I get something to drink? Is there a movie theater or something?
Or it's kind of like I imagine it would be a similar case if you were like one of those dudes that took place in like those like massive like Guinness breaking gangbangs like the Houston 500.
Oh god!
Where you show
those are so depressing.
You show up there with like a fucking like the guys that show up with like masks.
Oh, that's so.
And they all have.
Oh god! They're like the cheap. Speaking of Party City masks, That's what that. It's like they've got those like really cheap
Mardi Gras masks.
Yeah, or like the Zorro mask, you know. Yeah, it's like okay. Zorro. And it's like tight, like this super thin plastic.
Yeah. Or they have they're all wearing like the plain white t-shirts, and they have like their black dress socks on, and they're just kind of putzing around down there.
With their gym shoes.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, once again, because even if it's like, let's say even if you like wanted to stay for a round 2, you're just supposed to sit there. Imagine the smell.
I wouldn't sit there, and I wouldn't stand there. I wouldn't be there. I'd be like, peace out, and I'd leave. Hit up the Culvers on the way home.
Somebody winks at me. It's all over then.
Or maybe you could bring Culvers to the whole thing. Everybody gets a concrete shake, yeah. Concrete mixer.
Yeah, I'm going out to pick up some Culvers. Anyone want me to pick up anything? Right, just write it down on this piece of paper. Oh, I can't read. Does this say small or medium? Is that the? Oh, that's the S from the. Okay, I got.
Wait, are these just the safe words?
Fish and chips. Anyway, Alex, would you please do me a favor and wrap up this month's episode of Culture Doom?
Certainly. On behalf of everybody here at Culture Doom, I'd like to say thank you very much for tuning in and listening to the first episode of Culture Doom for 2021. This is the Newborn Baby Edition arc. On behalf of... I'm just all over the place here.
Yeah, you don't have to complicate. You can just keep it simple.
I'm just going, man. On behalf of Brendan, this is Alex saying do побачення until next month.
When I was a little boy, I feel like adult men winked at me all the time.